My name is Paul Gough, and I'm the Principal and Vice-Chancellor here at AUB, and we're here today to celebrate 25 years, a quarter of a century of this gallery. It isn't just a gallery, it's not just pictures on walls. What the team do is deliver talks, community activity, external events, work for schools and colleges, so it's more than just pictures on walls. But the pictures on walls have been really quite extraordinary. I've seen work around the body beautiful, I've seen work around diversity, around ethnicity, around what it is to be a young person in a very, very difficult and demanding world. But it's done with extraordinary skill, with a curatorial talent and a flair that sets us aside from many other universities. So enjoy 25 years here, and here's to the next 25 years.
It's a pleasure to be here back at the Arts University of Bournemouth. Returning for my second exhibition is especially enjoyable, also given that it's the 25th year of the anniversary of the gallery itself. The work I'm presenting is Against Architecture. This is an installation work that was made initially in London for Matt's Gallery. The space there is quite different to the gallery here. There it's an old warehouse space with some distress on the interior and higher ceilings. And so the piece had a quite different feel. I was intrigued in bringing it to Bournemouth as to how the work would stand up in a new space, how it would function in a much more cleaner, whiter space. Also, the relationship to a student body, of how, in fact, students would interact with it, to what extent they would engage with it, and how that would work out. It's been an interesting experience. The week we spent installing it, I was able to watch the flow of the students through the space. The gallery has 4 entrances, essentially the main entrance, a kind of passageway entrance that runs between the gallery, and a 4th entrance which comes through the lower gallery and up through the stairs into the main gallery. All of these function quite differently. And so in making the piece, I was to some extent trying to also engage with these different ways of coming to the space. At the main entrance, one goes in through quite a narrow, small portal in a sense, a kind of doorway into the piece. On the more passageway side, the work is much more open so that people can sort of pass by it without even really entering into it. And equally in coming up from the gallery, again, they can pass by the work without really entering into it, but nevertheless get a sort of quite an in-depth look into the space itself. The title of the work, Against Architecture, comes from 2 things. One is the relationship between architecture and my own practice, and how, no matter how bleakly, I somehow engage with notions of architecture in my paintings and indeed in this work. And the word against, in that I'm intrigued by the double use of that word. One has been against something as something is against the wall, as indeed the painted photographic panels are against the walls in the plasterboard walls in the piece. And the use of the word architecture in the structure, which is simply a 3x4 stud wall plasterboard screening system, is in the most simple terms a rudimentary movement towards a kind of architecture. The work for me is very much about liminal edges. It's about catching things out of the corner of your eye, seeing perspectives and viewpoints unexpectedly by turning a corner inside the piece, and equally inside the small pieces that are hung in within the work, the photo painted panels, the way that they themselves reflect just spontaneous fragmentary moments that I sensed in the act of taking the photographs and in making up the small panels themselves.